I get the distinct feeling we just unlocked a new level of beauty and chaos by proliferating our proliferator paint. But anyway, let's make some information matrices at last. Hello Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Dyson Sphere Program in our Alpha Andromedae series. So we will return to, like, what else can we proliferate as a question in the next little while. But for now, one thing I want to go ahead and do is we're going to get rid of this oil line. And in so doing, we're going to probably create a bit of chaos because there's just going to be so much that gets dumped into our inventory. Let me prepare for that by getting rid of some of the stuff that I'm carrying. Specifically, I can fly to where the carbon nanotubes are being made here, and I can offload those. We have some additional things we might be able to get rid of as well. But this oil has been on this line. We're actually okay at the moment, but I would imagine it's going to reach a point where it falls onto the ground as I delete this line, because this is a long one. Yep, there it goes. All right, so we'll pick that up in just a moment. Let me empty this into the new tank. By the way, if you're thinking, man, you just waited so long for that to fill up, and now you've just added 2 more storages on top, what are you doing? Just trust me. I'm going to address that in 5 seconds. Because we no longer need oil to go in that direction at all. So what I'm going to do, since there's really no point deleting this storage, I do want to go ahead and empty the... Oh, wait, no, I don't want that. Select. There we go. We're going to pour that into the storage. I'm going to prioritize output that way. So all the oil will go that way until it backs up in this direction, and then it will go into storage. Because I have no need for it to go anywhere else. Right? Right. So let's also... I just realized something else. Hang on. This loop is completely unnecessary. Why do I have it going around like that? That's much better. Nice. There have probably been a few people staring at that for several episodes and holding their tongue, trying not to say anything. I appreciate your self-control. Okay, so information matrices. It's time. We've been talking about it for 4 or 5 episodes in a row now. It's the next milestone in our production. Are we producing enough graphene? It seems like we might not be. Interesting. So we could potentially proliferate these materials here quite easily now. So let's go ahead and do that. I need to build a proliferator. Ooh, I could build one almost in perfect alignment. Oh, that's ironic. That's really ironic. Hang on. Let's see if I can bring this here and then bring that down there. No, I can't. Really? And you won't let me connect it. Oh, that's rude. All right, well, it's not going to be perfect. I'm not going to put in the effort to fix that any further. It looks like power-wise we might be at capacity. Oh, wow, we are. Interesting. So I'm going to have to do more hydrogen burning in just a moment, but that's fine. We have plenty of hydrogen to burn. It's probably the additional proliferation that's making this occur. All right, so we need another proliferator set up here. Some of the resources coming in here are already proliferated. Specifically, the energetic graphite. All right, so let's go ahead and just move you over one while you're back there. And we do definitely need to set up a Tesla tower there. Okay. So this extra hydrogen storage, notice, is already full. What we need to do, first and foremost, since we have a bit of a power situation and need to burn down some hydrogen, literally burn it down. Notice that that foundation sits in a stack that's quite high, 1,000 by default. So actually, there's one thing I can set up right now that will make my life even easier. Oh, this is so satisfying. All right, so we're going to set that up. We're going to plug in some of our buddies here. And I just want you to provide to Icarus. You're not going to collect extra, but I want you to provide, let's say, at least 2,000. And now they're bringing me that extra as it comes in. So they're going to continue to do that, which is fantastic, and I appreciate them for it. And in the meantime, let's see what else we can do with the proliferator paint, because that situation is continuing to evolve. Oh, yeah, we need to address the power situation first, because we are over capacity now. So it does seem like maybe part of the issue might be that maybe the solar belt is not that even, and like there could be. Let's skip. Yeah, that's what's going on. So the solar belt is not as even as I thought. I need to kind of travel around the equator and see where I might need to build more foundation. Now that I have a lot of foundation, that's not going to be hard to do. But another thing we can absolutely do with all this extra foundation we have is build more hydrogen power. So let's do that first and foremost. Because I don't want to build information matrices until we have a power situation that's ready to support them. So ironically, we are once again solving a few more small issues just to get ready. All right, so now that definitely gave us a big boost. Although I think the other way to get a big boost is what I just described. Let's take a look at the belt. Yeah, this section of the belt, for example, needs to be at least double or triple. So what I'll do is just at every point where I wonder, can you do this with a blueprint? What I'm doing right now? You probably can. Ooh. That's exciting. All right, so we're going to triple up the solar belt here. It does involve destroying a little bit of the planet's natural beauty, which I don't like doing, but we're going to do it for science. All right. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just me counting how many times I was hitting the plus key. And this, of course, will only help our power situation right now, but we're also going to look for other sections of the belt. Oh, hey, what's going on here? Why are you like this? That seems like a just completely glossed over opportunity. Or maybe something else was... Oh, this is where the... Yeah, that's where the oil power plants were. Don't need those anymore. All right. Yeah, I think it's sensible to go ahead and do more here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at those, the freaking resource bots just bringing everything that we need automatically, especially when it's foundation, so that we don't run out. Not that we're going to run out from these tiny little plots that we're putting down, but it's fantastic. It makes me so happy. And in case you're wondering, this is fairly typical for me on home planets. Like, I will usually end up with a 3-wide solar belt because it's a good way just to provide an energy buffer until later in the game when it's easier to maintain power production. Okay, so here's another area where, let's see, which one do we want to... Yeah, I'm not going to triple this one. I'm just going to add the additional line down here. Done. And this is another area where it absolutely is problematic. So I'll do the reverse here just for fun. Oops, slightly misplaced that, but it'll work. It totally makes sense that we had a little bit of a power situation, and it's only at certain times of day that this would have been happening. But addressing this to where we don't have parts of the belt that are kind of haphazard will ensure that we don't have brownouts that interfere with things as we get these information matrices going. Because one thing you have to bear in mind is that since I've got research off right now, part of the power grid isn't even functioning. I've built up the maximum number of research cubes, assuming the storages are full, which they probably are. I've built up the maximum number of cubes, and they're waiting to produce more. So as soon as I start producing the information matrices, not only will that produce, or start draining more power and consume more power, but on top of that, we will have the problem of everything else coming back online at the same time. So something worth thinking about. I'll misplace that one slightly, but it'll work. Sometimes I just wish the game would remember the spacing that you want for certain buildings rather than having to... It'll remember when you are doing individual placings. Like right now it remembers because I was just placing them. But if I select something else to build, it will no longer remember. Okay, we've gone around the entire planet. Let's... Yeah, we're going to double this up here. There we go. Oh, there I go, slightly misclicking again, but you can't even notice that time. And there we are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, perfect. Now let's look at the power situation. Look at that. That's just over the last minute. Let's look at the last 10 minutes. Much more steady line and a huge surplus. So what's going on with the graphene? That's the question. We have more than enough plastic, so much so that we probably need to go ahead and set up plastic storage. Right now it's just coming down here and stopping. So let's go ahead, since we will have to do additional construction. Where is the particle broadband produced? It's produced in assemblers. And we need the outputs from several of these buildings. So plastic, I imagine what we'll need to do here is come out this direction. Oh, perfect. Oh, perfect. Check this out. All right, plastic is right here. I'm going to bring it this direction. And now it's going to be immediately alongside. Just kidding, not immediately alongside. It's going to be almost immediately alongside these. Very nice. All right, so that's 2 of the 3 resources we need. And the third that we need is what we're importing. Which we might be able to use. This has been something that's suggested in the comments a lot. Again, I am very accustomed to using lines to move things. Now that we have the bots available to us, that's kind of a new feature in Dyson Sphere Program that gives you the ability to avoid spaghetti situations and transport resources autonomously to various places without, needing to put something on the ground, which is really cool. I use it in situations only where I feel it's completely necessary, but I've had a lot of people saying you should be using more bots. And I understand why you would suggest that. It's partly a good suggestion, it is a good suggestion, but it's partly, I think, player preference for how it's set up. And I'm not playing this particular run through, and really any Dyson Sphere Program run that I do, I'm not looking for perfect min-maxing. I'm really not. So, suggestions for improvements like that are always welcome, but just giving you a little bit of the rationale, restating really, because I've talked about it before, a little bit of the rationale for why I might not always take those suggestions, or why I might be less enthusiastic or less receptive to some of them. Okay, so let's make sure that we have batteries. We can start making Deuteron fuel rods soon too, which is really cool. Now that we're 15 minutes into this episode, ooh, interesting, we're actually producing fewer diamonds now, because we're producing so few of... So that's interesting. Despite the fact that we are completely good Like, these are all backed up totally. We are just not producing enough energetic graphite. Let's take a look at our refiner situation and see if we can identify a problem over there. All of these are running. Every last one of them is running. Interesting. So we're just not producing enough of the energetic graphite. Well, one way that we could change that is by expanding this line, because remember, this will produce more hydrogen for us, and it will produce more energetic graphite. So, all right, I'm going to address that next, though, because we have enough research cubes that we don't need to address that right now, but I'll need to keep an eye on it, because we're just low on energetic graphite at the moment, but that's not going to remain the case. It does look like we're starting to run out of stone, but we're also probably filling up quite nicely. Oh yeah, we've completely chewed through the stone that we have here. So tell you what, why don't I set you to fill up at like 10, because remember, these stack really high. Okay. Coming over here, we are importing crystal silicon, and we have 10,000 of it. We're sitting on a lot of it. We're also sitting on a lot of turbines now, so that shows that our turbine work that we did episodes back has paid off, which I love to see. So let's go ahead and take our crystal silicon. Well, hang on, how's our power surplus? Is it justifiable to fly it? We would need to build another one of these. Let's take a look at the power draw on our existing planetary logistics stations. So the max charging power on these is 6 megawatts. That's the... Let's take a look at this. Yeah, it's drawing 6 megawatts. The interplanetary ones draw more, 30 megawatts. So I can afford to have... Yeah, we're gonna fly it. We're gonna fly it. We're not gonna use the new, you know, the spinner bots, so to speak. Somebody called them fidget spinner bots in the comments, and I laughed out loud. I was like, yep, that is exactly what they are. All right, let's go ahead and add some titanium. We also need to grab some of these. And I think I have them in storage. Yes, I do. Ah, damn. I didn't mean to do that. That's good enough. All right. Now we can build... Let's go ahead and build 2 more, just so I have an extra when I need it. Yeah, power-wise, we're in much better shape now. So I think building just 1 more planetary logistics is not going to be a problem. I will need to set up bots for it, so let's make sure I have the resources for those. That requires some copper, which I do have in large amounts, thankfully. So let's grab just a stack of that, and we should now be able to build just 1. Really? What am I low on there? Oh. Iron. That is doable. Although I feel like I might be about to run out. Yep. 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 Okay, there we go. Alright, grab that back. So I think what I need to do... Yeah, let's dump some of my excess here into these production buildings. And then I can also take all of you. There we go. There we go. We got a little bit more room in our inventory now. And now we fly over here. Oh, first things first, let's say that we want this to be a local supply. Perfect. Remote demand, but local supply. So we're telling the game that we want it to send these crystals to where they're needed. And where they're needed is right here. In theory, I could even go ahead and use this as the storage that I have these set up for right now. So I could have this tower storing graphene and carbon nanotubes. And I'm tempted to do that, but that's a decision for another episode, I think. All right, so how are we doing on those? All right, we're making our first... All right, we need to build the 10 thrusters, and then we're going to be able to build more of those. Can I build more than that, though? Still need more thrusters. Need more steel. Okay. Well, I have plenty of steel. Let's grab that. There we go. What am I low on now? Copper? Yeah, copper. Every now and then, the game will make it look like you have enough to build something, but in fact you don't. And it can throw you off. But I'm good now. There we go. I can build 20. Not that I need that many, but I'd prefer to have some sitting in my inventory. And yes, I can have those automatically built as well. I am well aware of that. That's something that would be useful to do. All right, so... Oh, no, we don't need to set those up in a slot. We just need those like that. Now, I think I've only ever done 10 of these at each. I could do more than 10, but for now, just have the 10. And we're going to set this to demand. And it is immediately... There they go. So not only are these going to fly over and get that, but we might also see some coming this direction in just a moment. Let's watch the horizon. It could be active elsewhere. Yep, there they come. So they're bringing some crystal silicon to this station. And it didn't even really make a dent in the power draw. So that's really significant because there's a couple things that we can do now with these new stations we've built that allow us to easily transport things across the planet's surface. I think I want to go ahead and have 4. And we will set up power there. Now again, these are going to be producing particle broadband for the first time. And they will pull from this line, like so. That line, like so. And then we will have crystal silicon fed like so. This is going to be glorious. All right, so we are immediately beginning our production of particle broadband, and check this out. I'm going to go ahead and set them to store it here. It'll be a supply. And actually, if I thought about that a little bit more, I might have... Oh, there we go. Yes. This automatic arching that was added in the last update is a thing of beauty. An absolute thing of beauty. I love it. All right, that's one of the 2 resources we need. The other is just the processors, which we already have in large amounts. So now all I need to do is come over here, and I'm probably just going to set the... Yeah, still bringing the crystal silicon down there, which is fantastic. How many of these do I have? 10 total? I could technically increase it to 10 more. You know what? Let's do it. I've just added 10 more there, because this is an interplanetary, logistics station. It needs a little bit more, going on. It needs to have more bots supporting its processes. Okay. So if we have a planetary one set up here, let's bring it over here because this is where the cubes are. Yep, so we're going to have a planetary one set up here. And it's going to be powered like so. And now we can say that we want you to bring the particle broadband. And we can still go ahead and plug in 10 bots. And they are immediately going to get the particle broadband. So with that being done, what I can do is go ahead and set up the matrix labs. I do need some metal and some Iron ingots. Iron ingots. Iron ingots. That's what it is. They're iron ingots. Iron ingots. That's metal too. So is that technically. So is that technically. That is an iron ingot. Okay. We need glass and iron ingots. So just 2 stacks. And come to think of it, I believe I may even be able to stack these higher. Oh no, I've already done that. Okay. So we are now going to have another tower producing these cubes. And I'm going to place it a little bit differently than I've been placing the more recent ones. We're going to put it here. Let's see if I get the spacing on these correct. Yep. Did I? Yes. All right, so now this will stack all the way up to the height of the other buildings. We are going to order it to produce information matrices. Very satisfyingly. And what we'll do is have another storage set up. Let's go ahead and set the splitter up where we need it. It's going to be at the same distance as these, so I want to measure it precisely. That's 3 over. And like right there, I think. No, it needs to come 1 back. So like right there. That might have been too far. It was. All right, so it's going to be right there. I'm looking at the exact spot I need to put it now. There we go. Oh, only need it to be too high. And so what these will do is take output, and then they will input straight into the research tower. Go ahead and delete that last line because it's doing the funky thing where it pulls from the second tile away for some strange reason. And of course this will need to be powered. So there's that. Now, very importantly, let's pull the particle broadband in from over here. Want this to be a particle broadband line, very good. This is definitely the most complex research cube that we've set up yet, so it's going to take effort to maintain, and that will continue to be more and more the case as we move forward. We are right on the cusp, within, I would say, 5-10 episodes, of being able to think seriously about getting resources from other star systems, which will attenuate some of that process and make it a little bit easier to deal with. So that's good. Okay, so we've got the particle broadband coming in, and now we just need the processors. What's the fastest way to bring them in? Probably back here. Yeah. We send it through there. What if I have you go up a line? Perfect. All right, so we're going to set up that line. It's going to follow along the ground until it reaches there. And Game is eerily quiet when the music turns off. But it's not that bad. Oh, it's like it heard me. And started playing the most inspirational track it had. Thank you, Dyson Sphere Program. I appreciate that. All right, we are at the 30-minute mark, and this is like actual perfect timing. Look at that. Right as we begin, the first information matrices start their production process. So you can already see the back of this line emptying out quite quickly. And the first information matrices is being consumed by the tower, and which means we, at the beginning of the next episode, we'll do it at the start of the next one, we will be able to start choosing our next research options finally. Very exciting technologies coming up, including the ability to warp between worlds and collect some of those more complex resources that I have been telling you about so much for the last few, because things have been complicated in a fun way, but complicated. And we're now going to get to a point where we can import things like sulfuric acid, we can import things like organic crystal, and not consume so much of our resources trying to make that happen. Another thing that we need to address at the beginning of the next one is we have an energetic graphite shortage, and I think the easiest fix for that will be to expand our line here, which is, this is of course our second stage, our two-stage refinery line. So if we bring this back to roughly the same length as the one-stage refinery line, which is helping us produce oil, then we will, I think, be in a better position overall. So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time or even your second, look for the join button to access unique emotes, badges, and other perks. New episodes are coming out every day at noon US Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.